No Cantona, no Ginola, no Papin, but Amy Jacquet believes this 11 is more than capable of extending a 23-game immunity from defeat. Christophe Dugarry, who had a choice of Blackburn or Milan and has opted for Italy rather than Lancashire, is preferred to Loco. Thuram starts in defence with Unglemar dropping out. Romania's names familiar almost to a man after their outstanding World Cup campaign 2 years ago. Only defender Daniel Prodan, who's suspended, is missing. Georges Agi will try to do damage down the left and supply the ammunition for Florin Radachoiu, who's been plagued by injuries all season, but is said to be restored to full fitness just in time. St James's Park stages international football, and it's a game they've been looking forward to for weeks up in the northeast, where they love their football as much as anyone, if not more. And here is Lakatos, and there's the first free kick. It could be the first yellow card. Some referees might have taken it. Amazing, really, that if that tackle had been committed in another 7 or 8 minutes, that would have been a yellow card, probably. But the German referee, Helmut Krug, decides that that scything challenge wasn't worth a caution. Lakatos, good to see him back, actually. He played in the World Cup in 1990, but was omitted 4 years later. And that's a second free kick conceded by France. They've created their own problem in the first minute, because it produces a free kick for Romania, which inevitably will be taken by Georges Agi with the left foot. Now the referee is coming over to summon the two-man wall to retreat. And it's Agi, and he swings it through straight into the hands of Bernard Lama. Well, we all know what Agi can do with the left foot, but he didn't get enough elevation on it. Zidane. There is Dugarry. His way to AC Milan, apparently, for plenty of lira. He profited from the ricochet. Third free kick, Dimeco will corporate this one. No comment necessary from that effort from Dorino Munteanu. 4 goals in 45 appearances. By Laurent Blanc. And here's Jokev. Just too far ahead. It's Yuri Jokev. His father played in the 1966 World Cup finals for France in this very country. Georges Miali, who actually plays his club football in France, on the side tonight because of Prodan's suspension. Plenty of yellow shirts around there. And that elegant footballer Popescu brings the ball clear. Strange that he never really fitted in at Tottenham Hotspur. He has at Barcelona. Petrescu, he's fitted in at Chelsea, okay. There's the interception. Sets France in motion with Dugarry, and the first free kick conceded by the Romanian player is by Popescu. Let's see what France can build from this. Poor ball played by Deschamps. It's got Radachoiu moving. I think there'll be plenty of pace on both sides. Tianu couldn't direct the header back to Agi. He was calling for it long there, Jokev. Didn't quite come to it, and instead it's gone back to goalkeeper Stelia, known as Arnold Schwarzenegger, for obvious reasons. Got him on your side, Kevin?
Well, I've not really seen a lot of him, but he's certainly got a presence.
Agi, the ball inside is good. Lakatos with the shot. Wide of the upright, but that just shows how quickly the Romanians can counter.
They're really good counter-attack inside, and most everything comes through this little fella, Agi, and he is a smashing player. Good strike, probably too good. He could have done with miss-hitting it, and ends up high in the exhibition stand here at Newcastle.
Zidane. He's a big man, plenty of presence. Good on the ball. As most of these international players have to be. Tokayev. Rada Choyu comes back to win the ball, part of a striker's function. Lovely footballer, Desailly. Lakatos was intent on getting his own back on Dimeco there. Flying challenge of Karembeu and Shelimesh. Easily distinguishable. Karembeu comes from New Caledonia. Dimeco wasn't sure, and it's found its way over to Lakatos. He's short. Petrescu's the man.
That's where Petrescu loves to get. I mean, he can defend, there's no doubt about it, but he loves getting forward. When he does get in those positions, 9 times out of 10, he can deliver.
He'll get the ball back from Agi here. Agi again, he's so much the focal point. It was brilliant. He nutmegged the opponent. Tidies up. Such, I'm going to say an unknown quantity. It's probably not quite the right expression for Romania. They took everybody by surprise, and people keep saying they might be over the hill, but they can play.
Yeah, and they're used to playing together as well. And you must underestimate how important that is. Everybody knows the job in this side. You get a lot of people around the ball, John, don't they? Very quickly. And they don't give teams a chance to settle.
Dead right. Zidane. Too long. Wasn't a bad idea. He just took one glance upwards and saw that there was movement ahead, and Dugarry has in fact started up front, which you got right, Kevin, and I got wrong.
Yeah, I've seen him play. I went and watched him 3 times last season, and I think he's, for people in this country, say he's a little bit like Eric Cantona. He's a great compliment to him. He gets in those little positions where you're hard to pick up. He doesn't just stand up front, and he certainly can finish. And his goals for France actually disappointing. I think he's only scored 1 in about 9 games. But in club football, he's a prolific scorer this season. And that's why AC Milan are interested in him.
Thuram, one of those who's about to move into Italian football at the end of the season with Parma. Flicked on by Deschamps. The referee's not going to be over fussy.
We've had a few already that, I mean, the big problem they've got, and we have to understand that, is they're being looked at all the time, and if there's any chance of getting more games in the competition, they've got to do what they're asked to do. But we've had a lot of fussy referees so far.
Over 30 bookings, 2 dismissals. Lovely piece of skill again from Agi. Deschamps to Karembeu. Thuram, Zidane. Petrescu really settled at Chelsea after an unsettled spell at Hillsborough with Sheffield Wednesday.
He did, and I think the reason he settled so well at Chelsea is the way Chelsea play. I mean, at Sheffield sometimes he has to play in a normal back 4, and he's much better as a wing back.
Oh, an awful giveaway there. Encouraged Zidane to have the first time shot. And he'll do that only too happily, this big fella. He can hit them from any sort of range.
Yeah, he's another terrific player that France have got. And you know, we keep harping on about it, but in England we just cannot believe that there's no Cantona, no Ginola in it. But when you start to see the players out there, and the players who are not actually out there on the pitch but on the bench, you realise what a great squad Amy Jackie's got to pick from.
There is Deschamps. Karambou's made the run. Stride for stride. Belodedic and Shelimesh went with him. Ten minutes played, Romania 0, France 0. And the record between these two countries, they've won 3 apiece with 1 match drawn, so it couldn't be more even. That was Djokaev, and just knocked it into the path of Dugarry, but he was offside. That's the correct call. Actually operating through the middle at the moment. Well, they mix up the passes, and there's one of the longer variety. Just found its way through to Bernard Lama. Dimeco. Belodedic. Ball from Lupescu. Well in by Dimeco. Zidane, who uses his height well, but can only direct it straight to that tall centre-back. Belodedic, who had the chance to play for Yugoslavia a few years ago and decided not to do so. And after a long 4-year absence, is back in the Romanian team. Didn't quite come off. Well, they did that, and there might be an opening here if he can stay on side. Djokaev, he was off, and he knew it. Just thinking about the pitch here, Kevin. We've seen some lovely pitches, haven't we, around the country for Euro 96, and it's a real credit again, this one. Yeah,
it wasn't particularly good last season. I mean, the groundsman did a great job, but somehow the frost around Christmas ruined a lot of pitches, ours included, and it started to come back towards the end of the season. But it's magnificent here tonight. The pitch, that's no excuse for a poor game, that's for sure.
I think they're still feeling their way at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, nearly every game started off like this, possibly with the exception of the German side, and you know, they're just feeling the way. They've not been taking part in games for a few weeks, and I think it's normal. But I'd love to see an early goal in some of these games because it makes for a great game. But we always want that, don't we?
And why not?
Yeah, why not?
He pays you money. He wants to be entertained. Great for the area, though, for Newcastle to have an international fixture.
It is, and you know, the crowd here is pretty good, but you know, we're used to seeing it full, so this would be a disappointing game for us. But to be honest with you, you know, we're very much we like to watch our own teams in England, don't we? Yep. This is a great chance to see 2 fantastic sides.
Yeah, that's the British mentality, isn't it? Oh, that was Romanian mentality and skill from Agi. And there's a foul from Desai. I think Lakatos has spent more time on the ground so far than he has on his feet.
Yeah, he does tend to fall if he's touched, but the referee at the moment hasn't taken any action. You know, that first bad tackle, first minute, if he shows a yellow card, stops all this. But now the players are thinking, ooh, you know, we've got one we can get away with a bit here. And they're doing it, they're trying it on.
Inconsistency. So it's a very similar position to a free kick Romania had in the very first minute. And Agi tries to float it in, and Lama did well there. It was a good punch. We've seen 1 or 2 rather feeble punches from goalkeepers, but that was a strong one. And the ball knocked out sportingly, so that treatment can be received by the French player who is down on the ground, and as you can see there, it is Djokaev.
Yeah, he just got a smack in the face here, the ball. It was nothing intentional. There you go. A little bit of a wet sponge, he'll be all right.
The head tennis, wasn't it? Interesting character, actually. Apparently he didn't really discover the art of goal scoring until he was in his sort of early 20s, and it all came about because he trained with one Jurgen Klinsmann for a while. Took him for special practice in an afternoon at Monaco.
A lot of people, though, John, don't find the art of goal scoring until they get in the mid-20s. I mean, I certainly, when I left Liverpool, everyone thought I scored a few goals, but I really learnt the art at Hamburg, where just the penny dropped, if you like, and I was 27 years of age by that time.
Some people never learn the art.
But you weren't too bad, John. Come on. You do yourself down there. Remember you scoring a great goal once at Ellen Road.
Thanks, Kevin. Glad you gave me the plug. Glad you remember it. Lakatos with the throw. It's a dangerous one. Radachoyu there, if he'd managed to control that, might have had a shooting opportunity. Oh, dear me. It's all cracked in the head, and it's ironically it's Djorkaeff who's caught Mihaly. He still can't see. That's probably his really good excuse.
Yeah, certainly, when you think it was just a header of a ball into his face, it's causing him a lot of problems. Maybe he has contact lenses or something. I don't know. I mean, this referee's got to get a grip on this game with little niggly fouls, though.
Actually, what a ball. Lakatos coming on the outside of... That was wonderful vision, wasn't it? Well, he was coming on the outside of Dimeco. Actually knew exactly where he was and where to put it.
Well, there's the advantage of playing together so much that they almost know what they're going to do with, you know, before they ever get the ball. But this guy, anytime he's taking a corner or a free kick, you've got to respect him.
Probably the last time we see Georges Hagi in a major competition. He's off to Sao Paulo next season. There's the ball in, which created mayhem, and it's Dimeco who puts boot to ball and knocks it over into the east stand. This fellow, by the way, is bright. He's a councillor in Marseille.
A councillor?
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, politician.
I was going to say you have to be bright to be a councillor. I'm sure you do. I'm only kidding.
Won't argue with him. It's a free kick. France's way.
Must have had now about 10 free kicks, and not once has the referee looked at caution or talked to anybody. I really think he's got to stop those, just to let the game flow.
Here is Thuram flowing down the right. Might just be too far for Dugarry. And I would think Romania will be highly delighted with the way they've contained France so far. They've not had a sniff at goal.
No, they haven't looked like putting 2 or 3 passes together either. And when you look at what they've got in midfield with Zidane and Karambou, we see there, and Desailly coming forward, you know, they haven't really started yet, but they'll be phased in the game when they take the game to the Romanians, and they'll need to be good, because when they start knocking it around, they do flow. They really do flow.
Lakatos. Thuram snapping at his ankles, and he's found a way through there. Amazing. This is where the Romanians are good. They get forward quickly. That was Shelimesh. They're 4 players over 30 years of age, the Romanians, but they're quite sprightly. Popescu. Lupescu. Hagi was caught on the ankle, but he still clipped the pass away. Down in a sprawling heap. Thuram and Shelimesh. It was Montiano who got his ankle wrapped a minute ago, not Hagi. Hagi's one of those clever players. He switches around from right to left. He can turn up anywhere on the field. And
they do look a bit alike, those two, don't they? I often mistake them, but I think, to be fair, when they get on the ball and actually start trying to do things, there's no mistake which one's Hagi. I'm not sure this will be his last major tournament. I mean, you know, he's so important to them. I can see him being brought back to play in the next World Cup.
Really? He's 31, so
he's only a baby.
Plenty of life in him yet. Yeah. clearance went straight to a yellow shirt. So Lakatos there, and he's taken by Dimeco, and that is sure to be a yellow card. There's nothing more certain, especially as it's Dimeco's, what, second, third indiscretion?
Yeah, long overdue for me, this. And although he knocked it to nobody, in fact, I mean, Dimeco didn't know that, and he's come in very, very late. And I think that might be a good thing in terms of the game, John, because people have been allowed to get away with niggly things, which has stopped the game flowing. And now let's hope it runs like it can between these two great sides.
Agreed, because the referee does have such an influence on the way a game goes.
The rules are there. All the other referees have applied them, and we've had flowing football. Not too many great games so far. At least the games have flown and had a chance.
Let's see if Adji can do something with it. He's got it through. Lamar makes the stop. Well, he hit the target, as he nearly always does, but it never looked like beating the keeper. Now Montiano spins away for Dugarry. To Karambu, he made a good run there, chested the ball down nicely, but again it breaks down the edge of the area. Lovely control again. Seeks to get it onto that left foot all the time. Still battling away. And took the throw in almost before his own man Radochoy was ready. Zidane. Now Djokovic. Dimeco. That's the first promising situation the French have had. They've made nothing from it. It's a good clearing header. They were unlucky, and Djokovic with the shot. I wouldn't say it was an altogether convincing stop by Stellier, but he did get down to it, beat the ball away. But you had to admire the way Djokovic there instantly got in the shot. I'm sure we'll see that again in a moment. And that's lifted the crowd, and here goes Djokovic again. And surely he shoved his man in the back. He did. Still a good bit of football, that.
Yeah, and I disagree with you, John. I think it was a very good save, because I think when we see it again, we'll see it dipped just in front of the keeper. It made it very difficult for him. Look, and I think he did very well. Is this the goalkeeper that used to wear a wig?
No, that's the Bulgarian.
Oh, right.
I was just thinking he might be ringing Bobby Mihailov and asking him for one.
I don't think so. I think he... But he's a big chap. But I thought he did ever so well there, because he's not been in the game at all. And Djokovic made the shot out of nothing, really. Great turn.
Now Zidane, he's the one who pings the ball about. He's going to have to be quick to get that one. If that goalkeeper said it made a good save, he made a good save. I wouldn't argue with him. Another foul by Dimeco. He's got to be careful now. No, that's probably in his game. Inevitably it finds its way out to Adji, operating down the right now. The crowd enjoyed the back heel, didn't get him anywhere. Dimeco slips the pass well. They might have a chance there. No, the offside flag was raised anyway. Good refereeing this time, because he's played the advantage. And bad defending to give the ball away like that to Djokovic. Thuram's made a run down the right. Instead the cross is for Dugarry. The keeper off his line is punished by Dugarry's header, and France have the lead out of nothing.
I think this is an own goal. I mean, I'd like to see it again, but he certainly looked like the defender headed it. I don't think Dugarry got a touch. I mean, incredibly bad goalkeeping, because he came without any conviction at all. Came quite a long way. But I think it's an own goal.
We'll tell you in a moment, won't we? He does climb. I mean, he does get up here, doesn't he? There he is. You might be right.
Doesn't matter. It's gone in, and that The game really needed that. He's come against the run of play a little bit. He comes a long way. He's never going to get there. Maybe it was Dugarry. From that angle, it looks like maybe Dugarry got the touch. My
instant reaction, Kevin, was that Dugarry had got a touch to it. I'm sure he'll get credited with it. Yes, I think he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's his goal.
So give it the scorer. Give it the forward, because the defenders don't want them anyway. Not own goals anyway.
You were saying earlier he's not got a good record. He's got his second international goal at the 10th attempt. He's well pleased. But really, it was a shocking goal to concede. The goalkeeper certainly wasn't impressive that time. The game desperately needed it. And to be fair, it was against the run of play.
Yes, it was. I think Romania were disappointed, but they've got the ability to get back in it.
Well, he'll be asking questions of himself, because he had a rush of blood there and he was punished. They've had a problem with their goalkeepers, Prunea and Stelia. They didn't quite alternate during the World Cup, but the one was dropped. Stelia was dropped, in fact, after a game against Colombia. He let a few in. Now then, can they hit back instantly through Agi's free kick? Lama more confident. Got good hands.
Yeah, everything this guy's done so far, Lama, has been excellent. Apart from that kick, which nobody up there at all.
They always do that to you, don't they?
Yeah. But his handling's been very good. Not that he's had anything really difficult yet.
Well, Lakatos acknowledging the referee's decision. Aimé Jacquet will be delighted to have the lead, as I said, against the run of play, really. They've not deserved it, but they've got it. It's when things are going for you.
It is, and as a coach, you always think, well, now let's start to play, boys, and this game's here for the taking. He's a brave man, this guy, because he's left out two of the best players in the world. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I've got to ask you about that, because I know you've gone on record as saying that the crowd here would have really got behind the French if a certain Ginola had been playing.
They certainly would, and Cantona, to be fair, although there's a lot of rivalry between the two clubs now. I mean, they love you see what they're doing with Argier. They love it every time he gets the ball. But he stuck to his guns, and I mean, he's every right to do that with a record of 23 games, is it now, without defeat. And at this moment in time, they're on the way to 24.
Yeah, suggest, Kevin, if you were the manager, you wouldn't change a winning team, really. Not with that record.
I've never had a team that's gone 24 games without defeat, but I'll let you know if ever I do.
Jokev straight through. This time it is comfortable for Stelia.
I'd love to have the problem, John.
Yes.
Nice one.
Thuram. Let's see if that goal lifts the French. So they can be an inspirational sort of nation, can't they, really? When things are going for them. A joy to watch. They've produced some great players in recent years. One of them, the greatest of all, Michel Platini, is here this evening. That's locked in again for Dugarry. From his line, Stelia that time. Stared him in the face, took the ball. That was a wonderful side, the French one that won the European Championships in 1984. Tigana, Gires, Platini. Well, that was good, it was brave, and the shot wasn't too bad either. He swung at it, he arrived from nowhere there, Agi. How did he get in there?
Incredible skill there, you know, it's really an header, this, and he jumps up in front of the player. The only thing wrong is it's on his right foot, and actually he makes quite good contact for someone who's not right-footed, but it's never going to beat the class of Lama from there.
Good record. It's his 98th cap tonight, and he's scored 27 international goals. Here he is again involved. And it's spun away handily this time. Agi again drills it in towards Raducoyo, and Romania will have a corner for themselves. The Romanians have never won a match in the European finals. They got through to the final stages a couple of times. It's probably the best side they've ever produced, and there was a bit of pushing and jostling going on there. And
I think he's saying take the corner again and don't you pull him again. I mean, the next thing you can do is give a penalty.
Exactly, give a penalty, surely.
I think that's a warning.
I suppose it's fair enough. Interesting moot point. Up in the air. And away by Desai. Plenty of time here. Lupescu. Long towards Radichoyu. French defensive record in qualifying was wonderful, and they conceded 2 goals in 10 matches. You obviously can't get much better than that.
I think a lot of that to do with the guy we just saw on the ball there, Desai, because he is actually a midfield player a lot of the time for AC Milan. He's got in the back there, and he's got pace, and he's got guile. He can come out with the ball as well, but he tends to stay back more in this side. And you feel like he's wasted at times, but obviously when you only concede 2 goals, you can't be wasted.
Lupescu. Lupescu. Petrescu. Tianu's come in field this time. So Hadji turns up on the left. And on he goes. And there's well counting for what he might do. Unfortunately, everything is coming onto the right foot for him rather than the favoured left. But he's still rather useful, isn't he?
He still struck this one very, very well. It wasn't that far away, I tell you. The keeper's got it covered, I'm sure. But everything that Romania do at the moment comes through him. I don't see any major threats anywhere else. In particular, Radicheo up front has been very, very quiet so far. So they've got to get more players in if they're going to trouble France, I feel. They can't just rely on Hadji totally.
Oh, another back pass there that wasn't convincing. And that time Stelia was on his guard. Came out very quickly, did well. There goes Dugarry, the goal scorer. They're definitely crediting him with the goal. And there is Antel Iordanescu. He's actually resigned twice this year as manager of the Romanian side, coach as they prefer to call them.
I suppose it's 3 and you're out then, is it?
Probably.
No, he feels.
Swung in and away by Belo Dedic. His position was rather different to yours, Kevin. He's complaining that there are too many teams in their first division in Romania, for one thing. And he's also complaining of dreadful bribery over there in matches. I think that's something, fortunately, we don't have in our Premier League.
I certainly don't. It's the straightest league in the world, that's for sure. But too many games, that's a familiar one.
It's a lovely ball, isn't it? That's the sort of skill they've come here to see tonight at St James's Park. And here is Thuram, providing skills of his own and clearing for France. That wasn't good, and it's Hadji. Oh, and that's where he's such a quick thinker.
He is a quick thinker, but he must be awfully frustrating to play with at times. I mean, he was in a great situation there. The keeper was no more than 2 or 3 yards off his line. He really had to look to use somebody else like Radicheo or Lupescu. Was it Lakatos who was out on his right? But, you know, he shoots.
It's true, Kevin, but I was just going to say, I saw him score a goal from the halfway line for Barcelona once, so that's what he's probably trying to do it every time now. Zidane finds Karambou on the right. Left this time for Deschamps. Zidane, who's a towering presence in midfield. He's such a big fella for a midfielder. Looks more like a centre-half, in fairness. Again, and he just drifts past people. Played for the free kick there, and the referee said no doing. He wasn't going to give that. And then the ball is played straight out by Desai, and I'm not quite sure why. And he's not quite sure why, and the referee's not either, are you, Kevin?
I think he must have seen somebody new in the crowd and promised him a match ball. But Hadji wasn't happy about that, and I think it was a little bit of obstruction, but because he made such a meal of it, the referee said, no, you're not getting it, mate.
Petrescu. Dummy to confuse Zidane, and it's swept over there to that left side for Shelley Mesh. He knew where Munteanu was. Here's the cross. Petrescu was coming in at the back post. Funny enough, I remember Petrescu having a couple of chances for Chelsea here this season from just that sort of position against you.
He actually scored against us down there as well. I mean, he has looked a different player since he moved to Chelsea. And this, I think, is a poor ball in the end, because it really doesn't need to be right in that area there. He had 2 or 3 other opportunities to find a yellow shirt.
Rodney Choi disappointed to be given offside there. He's had a terrible season of injuries, and he's not really scored many goals with his Spanish club Espanyol.
Yeah, they had quite a good season, I think, didn't they? So, but he is dangerous, as we've seen before, and he does tend to play well in big games. But he may need a game or two just to get his confidence going, because, as you say, he's missed so much football.
Zidane. Might be too far for Dumenko. A little disappointed with Zidane's passing so far this evening.
Yeah, I mean, he is, like you said, he's a big fella. He's got great balance, but he normally plays a lot more shorter balls, and the French have hit a lot of long balls tonight. I don't know whether that's just the coach has said to him, hey, they'll expect us to play short, not some long stuff.
There's that fellow Marcel Desailly again.
I think this guy's a tremendous player, Charlie. He's got everything. Doesn't try and do the things he can't do either, which is a great quality, I think.
He's again on the jump, Desailly. One of the few players to have won the European Cup with 2 different clubs, Marseille and AC Milan. And there's Popescu, who's discovered a new life at Barcelona. Not far away from the half-time break. And I think that France are delighted to have got the only goal so far, because they've not really played that well.
They haven't. If we were coming up to half-time now, we really should be talking about 0-0 and no side really getting on top. But the goal came from, well, from nothing, really. And the keeper at half-time, get a roasting.
Will. Canonbou's cross is dangerous, just too far for Djokaev. Actually, it was a rather lazy attempt to play the ball forward, and so it's been snapped up again in this French midfield. Deschamps has got a man out on the right. Canonbou. Nicely nicked down the line. And, back it comes to Djokaev, and here's the shot! That was a cracker as well from Deschamps, deserved the goal.
Well, that's a marvellous move, and the first real class move of the game from any of the 2 sides, really. Strung a couple of passes together, great vision from Canonbou, and what a strike this is. I mean, it really is close. Superb. Any kid watching that show you how to volley a ball. Everything right.
That was from the skipper, Didier Deschamps. Shame it didn't go in from a spectator's point of view. It's the sort of goal you talk about for a long time. Dugarry climbs well.
Yeah, I just think if the Romanians went in at half-time 2-0 down, that would be a travesty. They don't deserve to be 2 down.
Football's not always fair. Similar last night, I thought Portugal were unlucky to go in a goal down against Denmark, but they had the guts and the guile to come back and get a draw.
Yeah, Portugal were very impressive at times, weren't they, with the movement and the passing.
Tremendous. That's a tremendous ball as well out there. He just failed to control it on that occasion. And then Munteanu darting forward, couldn't control it either. So it's the French who break once more. Canonbou's just become a little more influential in the last few minutes. And he was launching with intent down the right flank again, but it never came to him. And now, Djokaev looks up and finds Dugarry the opposite side of the penalty area. Zidane is charging up there to make his presence felt in the penalty box, and Dugarry settles for winning a corner.
That's what Dugarry's really good at. He just pulls off people and makes little angles, and he really should have got that ball, but he was so clever because his first run was inside the man, and then he pulled out and gave him the space, all the space in the world. And unfortunately, his final ball wasn't up to standard.
So Laurent Blanc, who's scored over 100 goals in his career, don't think of him just as a centre-back. He's up there. for this French corner. The closing moments of the half forward. It was Blongifat who got a touch to it, but it was off the instep and it wasn't strong enough. Lupescu. Oh, that's good hustling in midfield from Deschamps, but finally it breaks for Lupescu. And Agier, good tackle and an important tackle by Dimeco. Agier nicking it forward for Lupescu. They're holding off him. This could be dangerous. Lakatos. And it was Thuram who'd come across to intervene for his defence. Now then, the poor ball. Zidane was screaming for it wider. 5 minutes to the break. 1-0 the score. Thanks to a blunder, it's got to be said, in the Romanian defence. The last meeting between these two sides in the qualifying group resulted in a 3-1 win for France in Bucharest, although they'd actually drawn 0-0 in France. And again, the Romanians just conceded possession rather sloppily there. Coming forward is Guerin, Jokeyev, Guerin. Jokeyev, Dimeco down the left, but really taking the impetus out of their own movement. But they've still got possession, that's the important thing. And now Deschamps up here to Jokeyev, who wasn't challenged, and he's got chances of laying something on here. Belededic stuck to his task. Lovely play, Didier Deschamps again. There's your friend Desai here now. He just charged forward. He could go all the way, and he wasn't fouled in the opinion of Herr Krug.
You just feel that with him in your side, you know, he's a real leader. I mean, I thought that may have been a foul, but he was running out of ideas, because there's no doubt about it. When he gets further forward, he's not the force, but at the back and in midfield, this guy is one tower of strength for me.
How Romania could use a goal before half-time. So much different, isn't it, going in at 1 down as opposed to 1-1?
It really is, and you know, obviously you can see now the French starting to counter-attack the Romanians, and the Romanians have got to come out and they've got to go forward, whereas early on they were just content to knock it about. And it's a dangerous game, because the next goal's an important one. Either way, isn't it? 1-1 gets them right back in it, but 2-0, and you've got a mountain to climb for the Romanians. Mind you, with this guy, Hagi, you've always got a chance to climb in mountains. I think he's a tremendous player.
Dugari eaten on the jump that time by Mihalik, but he's found some space now. The French desperately trying to get men up into the area, and he's found a cross, which is not a bad one, because Guerin is here. Calmly away by Belededic. Ranić's really got to show us his paces now, and it's an instinctive cross, and a very good one too. Nicked on towards Agier, but well, this is going to be an interesting situation. The referee has raised his arm for an indirect free kick right on the penalty area line.
It's inside, actually.
Yeah, it is inside, isn't it? Obstruction, presumably.
Well, that's all it can be.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was dangerous play. If anything, his foot was right up there, but he's given obstruction.
Now, can Romania produce something telling right on the break here? Looks as though it'll be teed up for that lethal left boot of Georges Agier's. He only takes a size 5, but it didn't half-pack a punch. And it is for him. And it didn't come for him. Oh, dear. And that is really disappointing. Lupescu has nearly hit the corner flag with the shot. You can't help but think they got that wrong.
They did get it wrong, but actually from getting it wrong, they end up with quite a good situation. Because he's got a free shot, and he'll be really disappointed with that. The advertiser will be pleased with it, but he'll be disappointed.
Dugarry. And Don't want to make a mistake now, with surrounded by yellow shirts, and he's a strong fella. Jokev leads the line well. Just been lingering behind Dugarry so far this evening. Zidane. Some space going to open up down the left if he can feed Dimeco in here. Gone the other way. Still found his own man out there though. A little too subtle that. So Thuram hoists it up there. There can't be much stoppage time to add on.
As the half's gone on, the French have gradually started to take control of this game, and without firing on all cylinders, have looked the more likely side to get a goal. You know, I like Joker very much. I think he's very inventive. Here he is on the ball again.
There he is, and he might have a go from here as well. Goalkeeper clings on. There's a lot of expectation about the French, and they do lead here at St James's Park, but it was a soft goal. As we just see a replay of that final action of the half, was saved by Stelia, but it was his mistake that allowed Christophe Dugarry, the player who is destined apparently for AC Milan from Bordeaux, who's got the only goal of the half. It's 1-0 to France. Welcome back to St James's Park, and the Romanian coach Angel Iordănescu has made a change, and he's taken off star striker Florin Radicioiu, and he's brought on Moldovan, who's been a highly successful striker in this past season at Neuchâtel Xamax in Switzerland, top scorer in fact in that country. And you've got to be said, Kevin, that Radicioiu didn't really show, did he?
No, he didn't. I mean, he's obviously not match fit. He's had his problems, as we talked about in the first half. But what really disappointed me was really didn't work that out either. And I think that's why he's been replaced by this man.
I'm saying about Moldovan scoring goals at club level. He's also got 3 in 7 international appearances, so he's made the transition okay. And he'll be joined up front by Lakatos. And Romania will hope to do as Portugal did last night and get back into the game early in the half, because the longer it goes without a goal, the more difficult it becomes.
They're certainly capable of playing better than they did in the first half, and they really need Haji at his very, very best. And he was 3/4 there in the first half, but he can have a bigger influence on this team than he had in that first 45 minutes.
Very interesting. We've just been handed a note that Lennart Johansson, the president of UEFA, has appealed for the players to show fairer play, concerned about the number of yellow cards. Nothing to do with the referees being overzealous. It's all to do with the players misbehaving.
Well, I think this referee is the first one. He hasn't shown possibly enough yellow cards early on, but they probably make money out of these yellow cards. You know, everyone gets fined so much, and that's probably good way of making money.
Dugarry wrested the ball away from the opponent, and here is Zidane apologising. It's accepted cheerily by Lakatos. He's a bit of a target. Shelimesh. It's a foul as well from Karambeu. Again, no yellow card for this man, Karambeu.
It's clumsy more than... But we've already seen yellow cards for those sort of clumsy tackles, and I think Mr. Johansson, if this referee had been like the others, there's been even more yellow cards tonight, 4 or 5 up to now.
Stabbed forward. Illegal use of the body by Lakatos this time. The French certainly gave a feeling of getting more into their stride as the first half came to its conclusion.
You also get the feeling they're playing well within themselves at the moment. They've got this lazy style of play that seems to work for the French.
Yeah. Now Dimeco. As everybody retreats or advances, depending which shirt they're wearing, into the Romanian half. I just wonder how much belief the Romanians have got in themselves. They concede another free kick, and now a yellow card is shown to Mihaly.
Well, that's the worst offence, is tackle from behind. You can see, you just go straight through him. You can't get the ball.
Well, I think the comment has already been made that a lot of players are going to be missing towards the end of this tournament.
We're going to have none left, John. I mean, it's incredible. But, you know, if it goes on at this rate, and I mean, this referee's been more lenient than most, we're going to end up with all the subs playing.
That's why you need squads of 22, I suppose. Jokef's free kick, and it was a glancing header from Dugarry.
He'll be a little bit disappointed. Look, you can see him shaking his head there. This was a good chance. Great ball in, whipped in. He gets pretty much a free header, but he just glances it.
We saw umpteen replays at half-time of the goal, and it became apparent that the ball had been headed by Dugarry against Mihaly and flew into the net. But it will certainly go down as the striker's goal. You'd have been disappointed not to have been given that one, Kevin, I think.
I don't think I'd have reached the header, to be honest, but I would have claimed it for sure.
Here's a dangerous cross, and it was Karambeu who was coming in, and a flick of the head there might have carried France into a 2-goal lead. Now Thuram plays the ball. Zidane tries for space and swings on it. Well, he didn't get any purchase on the shot. There's your man Desailly coming across to combat Lakatos straight away. He's very quick, Desailly.
Lakatos gave him a real good bounce there, and he just shrugged it off, and it was Lakatos who flew over the touchline. He's really strong. He's got a great physique for a footballer.
I get the feeling he'd get in your side.
Well, I wouldn't mind him on the bench. I like versatile players, and that's what he is. I mean, he's playing at the back. People used to say about Franz Beckenbauer that he's too good to play at the back. You know, you always want him in midfield as well, and I think the same about Desailly.
I'm older than you. They used to say the same about John Charles. Now, Dugarry, nice touch, good turn, but there are enough yellow shirts around there. Agi picks it up and swings the ball almost lazily across. It was obvious what he was trying to do there to feed the substitute Moldovan in. Georges Agi has certainly decorated the international game over the last few years. He really was one of the stars of USA '94. That's where I think a referee's a bit finicky.
He just needed to let the play go on. The Romanians had the ball, but it just totally unnecessary. He's been a little bit like that, though, hasn't he, John? He has blown and whistled, and he's been one of the stars of the game so far, and I don't like to see the referees involved so much.
Lupescu. very much the anchor role tonight, Lupescu. Well, it's good hustling from Karambeu to make sure that the move petered out. A very workmanlike French side. Not quite had the flair that we always associate with them. Thuram.
They'll have plenty of time during this competition to show the flair, but certainly tonight it's just been a very professional performance with all the players playing the part. And I think that'll suit Jacquet. That's why he left the likes of David Ginola and Cantona out. He wants a team performance. He's certainly getting that here tonight.
Lakatus full of flicks and neat flicks that open the way for a Chalimesh cross here. And it was Desailly's clearing header. Yes, you get the feeling the French are really looking forward already to their meeting with Spain at Ellen Road on Saturday. That's a big one for them. And that's going to be a full house, I do promise you. Every ticket's been sold. Funny, isn't it? No matter how well Romania and Bulgaria performed in USA '94, they're still not regarded as the glamour nations when it comes to spectating.
No, well, of course, unfortunately, not many people come from those countries. You know, that's...
There's Moldovan, and he's trying to give Desailly the run around, and down he goes, and the referee says play on. And Desailly got back quickly there because a lapse earlier had betrayed them, really, there, the French, and Moldovan nearly took advantage. Thuram shows his athleticism, and down he goes. And that's a clear block by Mihaly, who's already been booked in this half. Now, what does the referee do about that? Nothing.
Well, it's a bookable offence, and you know this is the one type of referee who drives you crazy. The others have all at least been consistent. All right, we might not agree with all the yellow cards. Here's that chance, and it's the strength of Desailly again. But you know, there's a little shove there. Referee was a long way away from that.
He was 40 yards away, Kenny. There was a bit of a push, wasn't there?
Definitely.
Anyway, Marcel Desailly is not bothered about that. He's now gone up to try and get on the end of this free kick, and he nearly did as well, and he goes down in a heap. But France at least have a corner out of it.
Just looking there, how incredibly different the free kicks are. We get a free kick in that position, we throw everybody up. Yeah, the French only actually had 3 people in the 18-yard box there, and just one person on the edge. The rest just stayed out of it.
He relies on perfect delivery, doesn't it?
He does deliver a great ball in Djurkov, to be fair. Djurkov, sorry.
And there's the flick. Well, he came to meet it, did Karambeu. Flicked it just outside the upright. Here we see it.
Great delivery again. He gets there first, but the angle's just too... Well, misses by quite a long way in the end.
And the second substitution is being made by Romania, and Lakatus has gone, and replaced by another striker, Adrian Ilie. Surprise, surprise, plays for a team called Steaua Bucharest.
Never seems to have the same disappointment for foreign players when they're asked to come off by the coach. The English players see it as the end of the world, I think. It's a totally different way of thinking.
Steaua Bucharest have produced some players, haven't we, for internationals, and here they go straight away. Here is the substitute. He turns well too, gets the crossover, handed away by Thuram, and the final shot that came in was from Lupescu, and it might have produced points at Twickenham, but it produces nothing at St James's Park.
No, I'd be disappointed because he's coming onto it lovely, but he just... Yeah.
And we would have a game for you. Oh, the ball's just coming back now. Thought that was going to be one of your souvenir shops next season. There is Adrian Ilie. Scored a hat-trick in one of his previous international appearances in February against Thailand.
Would have thought he would be quite a bit taller than most of their players. He's quite a good size.
Certainly is. And now there are chances here for France. Zidane might be on the end of this. It's another corner for the French. Headed out by Popescu, who'd patrolled all the way back there. But, he's coming more into the game, Dugarry.
Yeah, as I say, I'm going to watch him 2 or 3 times, and he's a lovely balance for a big man. And I think he's best up front. I know he can play behind the front too, but I like him up there. He's inventive and he's dangerous.
Francis corner. Good clearing header from Aji, of all people. The second goal will kill off Romania. Thuram trying to tee one up here as well. That was missed by Jokev. And it's found its way out to Aji. And now Belodedic. I mentioned about 4 or 5 minutes ago, Kevin, that whether the Romanians had the desire and the will to win. At least the 2 substitutes seem to have given them a bit more pep. Yeah,
I think definitely there's no doubt in the man Hadji. I think his desire's still there, but you said beforehand they're getting a little bit old now, and they just look, they're not getting enough people forward now, whether that's because they can't cover the ground.
Here's Jokev and he's onside. He brings it down nicely, looks up, assesses the situation, toe pokes it through. Well, the idea was to bring on Dugarry, but it was just too far ahead of him, and Stelly made the stop.
Almost too unselfish here, you know. I think he should have been looking to take on the last man, but he's tried something, but he was never really on.
Good player, though. Thuram's a good player too. He won the ball easily there. And again, that was all down to anticipation, speed of thought and movement. And here goes this fella Jokev again. They're just starting to play a bit.
They're being encouraged as well by the Romanians, who are getting deeper and deeper.
I'm just thinking there, I've not seen Petrescu this half. It was him who's turned up in midfield to get the ball. Surely a foul by Laurent Blanc, who's destined for Bobby Robson's Barcelona next season. Now, that's a useful ball. Shelimash can't get there, though. And Bernard Lama has had a relatively quiet night in the French goal.
Yeah, as what he's had to do, he's done really well. But as you say, he's not really been tested at all, which, we're coming up to what now?
An hour.
An hour. It's got to be disappointing.
Lovely skill from Dugarry there. And he's here again. Clips it across. Jokev, he's onside amazingly. Looked to be all on his own there. And now it's Deschamps. Well, amazing. In the first half, Deschamps really rattled one that shaved an upright, and then when he'd got the perfect chance, he fluffed it.
That one was a volley, and this one's a ball rolling back. And although it looks easy, sometimes that, you know, to put power on them is very difficult. There's a lot of footballers who'll tell you.
Useful ball knocked in again here. Oof. Stelly wasn't going to risk handling the ball right on the edge there, so he kicked it clear. They're starting to control the football, the French. I like the look of this fella. He is powerful. Thuram. Okay, he's been dispossessed on this occasion. Now he's got to get back as well. But, for once the ball fed in wasn't of the best quality. Word on Thuram, Kevin?
Yeah, very, very impressive, because not only is he very, very pacey and strong, but he's also one of these fullbacks who actually takes on wingers and runs at them. And they're the worst kind. I remember playing against Colin Todd years ago. He used to get the ball off you, and then he used to run at you, and it destroys you after a while. I don't think Toddy could do it now, though. He's in his 40s, so I wouldn't mind playing against him now.
So you can.
I forget about that. The French are controlling this game without really getting out of second gear, aren't they?
Jokev. I don't think Dugarry realised there. He was in a very good position.
Yeah, he went for a trick instead of just getting hold of it. He was in a great position, well inside the box. Defenders can't touch him, but he decided to have a little flick at it.
The Newcastle United supporter on his feet there, applauding and trying to stir up the crowd.
Well, the Geordie language is very similar to French, so...
Especially since Ginola came here. Now then, Romania. Is this the moment for them to get back into the hunt? Battled well here. Ilya, he's a tough little customer, and he somehow finds space where there appears to be none. He's battling away manfully, but there were two there, and they finally got the ball away from him. And this has released Zidane, who uses his power now. Nicely knocked over the top. Dugarry takes it down. Oh, they've got chances this time. Dugarry still Dugarry. Quite sure why he didn't feed Jokev in there. He had the chance. He
did have the chance, and then he elected to go on his own. But actually, if he'd taken the last man on again there, he would have been clean through. But he has got tremendous close control for someone who's 6'2". Here's my man.
Here's your man.
Strong as a bull.
I think he's your man of the match, isn't he, Desai?
I'm a big fan of his.
Dimeco. That was a moment where Amy Jacquet was on the touchline and not at all happy with the clearance straight to a yellow shirt, but it was given back. They didn't profit from it, and now Zidane will run at goal. No, he won't. He'll pop the ball out here to Dugarry. Joining in is Thuram. Lovely vision. Knew where Jokev was, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got everything, this guy. You can see why he's on his way. He's got himself a good move.
With the Parma next season. Former under-21 captain for the French, Lilian Thuram.
He's just the right age as well to move abroad, isn't he? You know, he's 24 years of age. He's just coming up to his peak, I would have thought.
Now Dugarry does give the ball away. Things are just not happening for Romania. Okay, you've got to make things happen, but there are not that many breaks. The French are looking more and more menacing as the game continues, and I'm convinced if they got a second goal, that would be good night in the contest.
I think one of the major reasons that they aren't in the game is because Arju's not in the game, and they rely so much on him, and he's been very ineffective so far in this half.
Yes, you always look up and wonder where he is, and I can tell he was just strolling into the opposition half now. But that's a decent ball played by Lupescu, and Petrescu goes down, and a free kick will result from that challenge from Dimeco. Won by Dan Petrescu. Again, you know, the referee was a long way from that. It was the linesman who gave it. The referee was 30-40 yards away. That worries me slightly. However, the free kick is for Romania, and Haji's got across there to take it. And they've got half a dozen players inside the penalty area, most of them on the edge of the 6-yard box. Now then, Haji for Romania.
He's whipped most of these straight at the goalkeeper, and hoping someone's going to get a deflection. They're very hard to defend these balls when they're whipped in the way this guy whips them in.
Here it comes from Haji, and Lama makes the catch. It was the best of the free kicks he's delivered, because it was whipping across there. It had a bit of pace on it that time.
Again, Lama, though, got tremendous hands. Yeah, look, I mean, a lot of the keepers we've seen, especially foreign keepers, have been punching those sort of shots. Some of them not too well, as we saw in the European Cup final. But this guy tonight has done everything absolutely spot on.
This will be funneled back. Right across the back line. Karambou coming in. Didn't quite unsettle the man, so Shelimesh plays it forward. And there is Blanc. Spectacular from Deschamps, back to Desailly. Sends Deschamps on his way.
That's what's really let Romania down tonight. That just typifies the performance. They've got themselves in some good positions, and they've been unable to just find another yellow shirt.
Well, and double substitution. So Lizarazu and Loco will be introduced. I think Well, Dimeco is certainly one of those going off. Eric Dimeco putting 1 or 2 crunching challenges earlier in the night.
He's the oldest player in the French side as well, I think, at 33, isn't he?
Yeah, when he was booked. So on comes Lizarazu, a man who is supposedly interesting Arsenal at the moment. And Patrice Loco comes on for the goal scorer Dugarry. Well, here's an interesting character, Loco. He's sort of been rehabilitated into the game in a similar way to Paul Merson. He's had his problems, mostly off the field in France, had a nervous breakdown, but has refound his touch this season.
A totally different player from Dugarry, very, very quick and looking to get in, run into the angles just like this. This is typical of him.
You knew that was coming, didn't you? Let's see what he does with it now. Knocks it back and tries to get forward, and it was at full stretch that Popescu got in the intervention. Deschamps. That's a lovely ball, and here is Loco, and if he can use his pace he might get the second goal. Loco, it could be a dramatic intervention. Well, the substitute almost scored within 60 seconds of his arrival, and he's really cursing the fact that he hasn't scored.
It's a great run, but I really felt he should have knocked it out to his left there, and he's pulled it away and he's off balance, but again he gets quite a good strike, and he's a fresh pair of legs, and the Romanians are going to be tested by him in the last 20 minutes.
He's the coach with the problems. He's not a happy lad, is he, at the moment either, Angel Iordanescu. He's actually been offered an oil well, did you know that, Kevin? To go and coach in Azerbaijan.
I'm just pleased to see he's got the problem that we all seem to have, and that's grey hair. Mr. Jacques has gone grey since I last saw him at the beginning of this season as well. Occupational hazard too, I think.
Thuram has figured really prominently in this second half down this right touchline, in front of the Jackie Milburn stand. Poor Jackie. He'd have loved tonight, wouldn't he?
He'd have loved to have seen this stadium, and he'd love to not have had a stand named after him still being alive.
Lama's mistake there gives Romania the chance, and Moldovan can't take it, and that's where you just have the feeling that they've not got enough self-belief. That was a chance. Now then, what can Zidane do at the other end? He'll feed it through for Jokeyev, and Jokeyev, oh, tremendous challenge back by Shelly Matchbury. He's bowled his man over.
That's got to be a booking at the very least, and it's almost to the point where he's clear through.
Just yellow.
Yeah, he accepts it, the defender. He's happy with that. He's away, he's cut inside him, but he's just bowled him over.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly shoulder to shoulder, was it? Can't be. Coming from behind, that's the problem.
He did what he had to do, and he's got away with it to a certain degree. He's just got another yellow card. What's that? The third now, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
So compared with the other games, it's quite mild. He could have easily booked 6 or 7 players here tonight, this referee.
Very easily. And France could easily have had 2 or 3 goals in this half. They've just not prospered up. They've just not taken the chances when they've had them. But they're looking more and more dangerous as the game continues. Now Zidane is here and plays it in, and it's punched away by Stelia. That was a good free kick.
Very good free kick. To be fair to the goalkeeper, he's kept it out. It's not the conventional way that we see in this country, but it was effective.
It was almost like Thomas Ravelli of Sweden. He perfected that in the World Cup.
He did, and although not everyone agreed with the way he kept goal, yeah. I mean, again, I think a lot of English keepers would have caught it or just flicked it over the bar. But Zidane did everything he needed to. They made him make a save.
Nearly released Loco, though the linesman had the flag poised, ready to be raised. And it was Ilie, who was quick, but I'll tell you, that fella will be just as quick, won't he? So he's no contest, really.
It's like a man playing against a young boy. This free kick, it bends a little bit, but it's never really going to trouble the keeper that much. But he's different, let's put it that way.
Looks different.
Yeah, apart from coming for the cross and making that terrible mistake, he's done everything he's needed to do, hasn't he?
But it is the difference at the moment, isn't it? 1-0.
Yeah, sadly, this man has cost them the goal, and you know, he'll have to live with that.
Stelly there's been around Europe. He's played in Turkey, he's played in Spain and Belgium. Here at Newcastle tonight, it's his mistake which separates the two countries. Thuram tries to angle that ball through. That is a goalkeeper's ball. Does the right thing by setting Lupescu away. The complexion of the game's changed though, Kevin. I mean, from at half-time where we were saying the French were a trifle fortunate to be in front, they're probably worth a second goal now.
Oh, there's certainly, you know, I think the big problem Romania have got is up front, where they've just got, they don't seem to have any firepower. Some nice little stuff in midfield, but nothing at the end of it.
Radichoya was a big disappointment. This man isn't. Thuram. Where is Argy this half? He's not there, is he? He's not at the races in this half.
And if he's not at the races, John, usually Romania are not at the races, and I'm afraid there's nobody else who can take over when Argy's having his quiet spell. There are plenty of players who can pass it, but nobody who can really make things happen.
Here he is now, but look where he is, halfway back inside his own half. And his pass didn't quite find the mark. Oh, Thuram's off on one of those charges again. Now they've managed to hold the line, and Thuram's kept on going. And Jokayev might be in here. Cuts back inside. Oh, it's too long for Zidane. They're just over-elaborating, actually.
Oh, I thought that's more what I expected from the French every time they got the ball. Maybe, you know, you see clips of films, and when you see a live match, it's not going to happen all the time. It's lovely football, knocks him in well. And I think Jokayev does the right thing. There's nobody in there at the moment, so he comes back onto his right foot, and he's just too much for Zidane, this. Would have been a super goal.
Yes, when you think in the first half of the Deschamps shot, which was flashed by the upright, and that moment there, the French could have been 2 or 3. They'd certainly have been out of sight by now.
There's no doubt about it, really, in my opinion. They deserve to be at least 1 goal ahead. But while it's 1-0, just like England found, there's always a danger someone like Argy bends a free kick in, or, you know, another player does something special, or you give away a penalty. So it's still nerve-wracking moments for their coach, Jackie.
Very much so. Chalamesh playing in Belgium with Cercle Bruges at the moment. Free kick here for Argy. Too far out, I think, for him to do damage from here, but at least they can get bodies forward. They've not had the ball up around that French penalty area very often. Romania quoted at 16-1 when the tournament started. The French at 8-1. Now Argy just floated across there, and that was useful. And here, free kick given for the push. Just as Popescu was lining the shot up.
Well, I mean, this goalkeeper Lama, so far, he's just not been troubled, has he? You know, you look at the Romanian side and come into the game, I thought Argy and people like that and Radichoya were going to cause them problems, but it hasn't happened.
Some space down here for Argy now to exploit. There's only 2 in the middle. The French funneling back. They've 6 back there. Off, and now he does make a mistake. He got his paws on the ball, and then he decided to play with it. They'll do that in the heat of the kitchen.
It's a great ball in this from Argy. You don't need to beat your man, bend it in there. But it's the keeper's all the way, and he just takes his eye off it, or has a stumble. But he soon picks it back up again.
Now Argy with a header. Desai's racing back. There again.
Just a great insurance at the back, isn't he? Any time someone makes a mistake or gets a flick on, you just feel that he's always going to get there first. He's a great player to say it.
So, Dan Petrescu will be withdrawn. to allow Iulian Filipescu from Steaua Bucharest to come on. He's very animated, is the coach, Iordanescu, down there. Now Thuram runs into trouble. There's no foul that time. Just come into it a little bit more in the last few minutes. And Shelimesh. It's a throw-in and not a corner. They've got to get more men forward. It's been their problem. Now then, can we have a little burst from Agi, maybe? Here's Diano. Really does need Agi to try and take control in these last few minutes. I think the French coach Jacquet is going to bring on a defender of his own in a moment, just to counter what's going on out there. Desai with the header. Deschamps. Zidane. Another substitute. Lizarazu. It breaks down. The Romanians have the chance as he angles the ball across. Munteanu angles it across. For Djokayev, done well here. And that was an important tackle from Shelimesh. So the French can make their change. There's one of the substitutes who's already on, Loco. This will be their third change. And it's Zinedine Zidane who is coming off. And I think he's stiffening it up a little bit by bringing on Alain Roche.
Yeah, I think Zidane was getting a little bit tired. I mean, without covering an awful lot of ground, he was always involved in the play, and I think he's worked hard by his standards. He's a different type of player to what we see in England, but he's certainly got a lot more ability than he's shown us here tonight, Zidane.
Roche from Paris Saint-Germain, his 23rd cap. Djokayev, he has played well. And even he can't keep that in. Roche's first touch. So he slots into the centre of the back four. That might release your man Desai to go a bit further up front.
I don't think he'll be coming out of there, John, though. 1-0 will do the French. It's up to the Romanians to come and try and get back into this game.
I think having to persuade him, though. He's trying to stay up for a little bit. There he is, just nicking the ball forward.
You're right, he has pushed it. I'm amazed at that because he played so well at the back, but they obviously feel they can maybe go on and get another goal, and that's the best way to defend a one-goal lead, is make it 2 and it's all over.
He's definitely slotted into midfield, hasn't he? You don't rue that. Agi's played a good ball here as well. And space opens up for Moldovan, and what a disappointing finish on the end of it. He created the space for himself. A raking run across the edge of the D, but a finish that didn't really match it.
Yeah, he worked so hard to get in that position, but again, he's nearly knocked the Sir John Allstand down there with that shot. It's in about the 25th row.
You fellas must put years on the touchline.
Yeah, he's only 22, that guy. One of the younger ones. I'm amazed he's taken the Desai out the back because...
Oh, there's a mistake, sorry Kevin, but here's Deschamps. Yeah, sorry, you were just saying about Desai.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously not scared to make changes, not scared to leave big names out. He's got his ideas, he's got his plans, and he's not scared to put them into place. You've got to admire that.
One of those, if they get a second goal, he'll say, well, you see, I told you he could do it. And if they give one away, it'll be a terrible move. In the French press tomorrow, he'll be slaughtered for it.
I'm afraid that's management. You put somebody on sub and they score, and you're a great tactician. You put someone on to shore it up, and they score, and you're an idiot, you know. There's no in between.
Hello, here we go. Just thought for a moment there he was fancying a little dart and field himself. Bernard Lama.
Well, had he done that, we've got a goalkeeper here called Pavel Černiček, who the Newcastle United fans see coming out and doing that.
Fancies himself as a striker.
Another reason why I've got a few grey hairs. He likes a little dribble now and again, does our Pav. And the crowd love it.
Kept in by Munteanu. Hadji. That's an intelligent knock forward for Munteanu, who's trying to get a cross in here. Guess who's got back to concede the corner?
I've been disappointed with Munteanu. I mean, I think he's the one player who can take some of the weight off Hadji's shoulders, but he hasn't done it here today.
Cross from Hadji. Well claimed by Lama. That's one thing, he has got a good pair of hands, this chap. Hadji rather trudging away, somewhat disconsolately you feel there.
Well, when things don't go his way, you can see him starting to just chat with the other players, you know, when they don't give him the ball just where he wants it and things like that.
Now then, what's gone on here? I mean, Djokeyev's gone down as though he was elbowed by Shelimesh. The referee said get up, play on. Jacquet's come to the touchline, and Djokeyev did take a bang in the face earlier. He's now being booed by the fans who think that he's been putting it on.
Well, he got knocked in the face in the first half, and it was only a header from about 3 yards, and he stayed down for a few minutes, and didn't look too much wrong with that. Although Amy Jacquet on the touchline there is telling the fourth official that there was an elbow.
Hadji. Again, that was something and nothing sort of a pass. Breaks for Deschamps. Not even Loco will get to that. It's clattered downfield by Stelia. And straight downfield from the other end by Lama. Guérin, who's a quiet, sort of effective worker in midfield for France.
Yeah, he's one of those unsung heroes that you have to have in every team. I'm just thinking there, though, I think Lama's had 2 saves to make in this match so far.
Djokev, that's a lovely ball here, and this might produce something. He'll produce the own goal, if anything there. At full stretch, it was cleared by Mihaly. Lovely ball inside the fullback. Deschamps is the one tasting the turf now. There is Jacquet. Well, it looks like being 24 unbeaten for him, and that is some record. What a pass that was, wasn't it?
It's a great pass. He's unlucky. It's good defending, and it's even better way he keeps this in. I think it's amazing. Look at that for skill.
They've worn the turf out on that touchline, Jacquet and Iordanescu. A bit on left for you to stand on next season. Knocked in here towards Loco, who couldn't quite control it.
We can get it re-turfed for myself and
Terry Mack.
Yes, he likes to stomp up and down there very occasionally.
Five minutes to go, Romania 0, France 1. Just the sort of start France wanted. They weren't too worried about having scored the 1 goal. That's enough. Well, looks like being enough.
Yeah, the amazing thing for me is that they're not really trying hard to get it back in it, you know. I mean, they're just playing the same way they've played right from the start, just knocking it around casually. And yet you feel they've got to step the tempo up if they're going to bother France.
Karambou. Assayi. Lovely ball for Deschamps.
I don't think we've seen the real France here tonight, John. We've seen them playing really at best 75%, but it's been enough to really comfortably see them home at the moment.
Yes, they've just done enough.
Exactly. Not shown all the races, that's for sure.
Spain will be a different sort of test, maybe. That's another good ball for Karambou. They do deserve a second goal. My feeling is Romania haven't had enough players to hurt anybody tonight.
I think what they lack is a little bit of pace. I mean, it's also slow and predictable. And Haji's getting more and more frustrated, and he's given the ball away an awful lot this second half. I mean, it's very un-Haji-like.
Very much so. And there's a giveaway to Guerra, who juggles with it. Deschamps. So although Romania have had equal possession on the night, it's France who've always looked the more menacing in possession. And they've had the ball. Having said that, here is Shelimash, and not a good ball in. Gave nobody any hope at all.
That really sums up the Romanian performance here tonight. They have got in some good situations, occasionally even 3 against 3, but the final ball in, surprisingly, has been poor, as that one was.
Iordanescu has been criticised about the build-up. Although they've played 8 matches, of which they've lost only 1 to Yugoslavia, they've not really played anybody that mattered.
Where have we heard that before, though? Everyone says the same thing about us.
They might get a goal here, who knows? Jokayev. French, on the other hand, have won their last 9 matches coming into Euro 96. And they have played some quality opposition. They've beaten the likes of Portugal, Greece, Belgium, Germany in the last 2 or 3 months.
That's what makes that run of results all the more extraordinary. You know, there's not many Saudi Arabias and Chinas in that list of 24. And of course, a lot of them have been qualifying games, real games of football, which is something England really looked like they needed against Switzerland. They look like they'd lacked that. Of course they haven't, because they're being the host nation.
Now then, they might mount something here yet. Romania. Oh, Lama. There. It's a yellow card.
Yeah, he
handled the ball on his way in. Nearly it.
He did a Maradona, but he wasn't good enough to knock it in the net.
Well spotted, Kevin. I wasn't sure whose hand had been thrust up there, to be honest.
That's this. He just jumps inside. You know, I mean, look, just puts his hand up.
Oh, dear. Come back, Diego, eh?
All is forgiven. He was better at it. His went in the net. This guy's not perfected the art yet.
You don't like to see things like that, do you? It would have been cheating. To be frank, the Romanians don't deserve an equaliser.
No, they desperately need a forward who poses a threat. Some of the build-up play's been okay tonight, but they've had absolutely nothing on the end of it at all.
Of course, they had that with Radichoyu in the World Cup, but if he's not there, performing at his best, they're short.
Well, they've taken him off and they've fetched they've fetched another player on here on the ball, and he doesn't seem to pose a threat either.
This is Moldovan. Came on at half-time. It's a slender margin, but it's a comfortable one. And yet, so long as it's slender, who knows? There is Popescu, there is Haji, down he goes. Thuram's foul just presents the Romanians with an inkling of hope, because this is within shooting distance, 30-35 yards. Silly free kick to give away.
Yeah, it was. This is the problem with only being 1-0 up. You know, although they deserve to be 2 up, they're not. And it's a slender lead. And one bit of magic, one mistake.
One flash of inspiration from Haji. Popescu's up there as well. Munteanu is poised over the ball. The referee's having to sort them out in that blue wall. Haji, in fact, doesn't look as though he's going to be involved in it. Well, it's Popescu. Maybe Haji should have been involved in it. I can't believe that. You get to the last minute of a match, you've got a chance with a free kick, and your best player's not involved.
It was maybe just a little bit too far out, even for Haji, but I'm sure he's done at least as well as this. And the Sir John Hall stands took a bit of a thump in here tonight. There's been a few gone up into that row 36.
They believe that the match is won, because they're the French supporters. Again, it's knocked up here, and Haji just tuck it back inside, and Cannonboo's done well there to get back. And Desai shovels it down the touchline for Jokeyev. And he's knocked it into the space for Loko. Is this the second? No, I think he's taken it too far. If he'd have just had the presence of mind to try and clip the keeper there, it would have been 2-0. But it's enough. France have won on the night at Newcastle. The Romanians a shadow of the side that excited everybody at USA 94. And a single goal from striker Christophe Dugarry in the first half after a lapse by goalkeeper Stelia has given France a victory that they have enjoyed, but we do know there's a lot more to come from one of the favourites at Euro 96. The final score here, Romania 0, France 1.